Welcome back, children. In the last few classes you learned about propensity to consume, propensity to save, average propensity to save, average propensity to consume, marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to consume. And you learned about the difference between these two, and a detailed study of all the propensity to consume is done with the help of diagram. Now today we will move on to the topics such as relationship between APS and APC, relationship between MPS and MPC, then the investment as the next topic, and numericals on APC, APS, MPC and MPS. Now so far we have completed saving and consumption, the concepts related to saving and consumption. Now we have to discuss regarding investment. I told you Keynes has explained his theory with AD is equal to C plus I, AS is equal to C plus S. C stands for consumption, S stands for saving and I stands for investment. So we have completed saving and consumption, and next we have to discuss is investment. So investment as a topic will be discussed today. Before that, we need to learn the relationship between APS, APC, MPS and MPC. Now let us first begin with the relationship between APC and APS. What is APC? Average propensity to consume. And what is APS? Average propensity to save. And you know the formula of APC and APS. You have learned it. APC is equal to C by Y, ratio of consumption to income. And what is APS? APS is S by Y, that is ratio of saving to income. So how much is saved from the income? That is APS. Now what is the relationship between APC and APS? The relationship between APC and APS is that APC plus APS is equal to 1. To be noted, APC plus APS is equal to 1, which means the sum of APC and APS is equal to 1. Now how do you get that? You have to prove that APS plus APC is equal to 1. Now what do average propensity of consume speaks about? The proportion of consumption to income, proportion of consumption to income. What does APS speaks about? The ratio of saving to income. Therefore, to prove the value of APC and APS is equal to 1, we have to depend on the equation Y is equal to C plus S. Why have Keynes used the equation Y is equal to C plus S to explain the relationship between APC and APS? The reason is simple. The income is used for consumption and saving. APC and APS speaks about ratio of consumption to income and ratio of saving to income. Both are possible with the income. Ratio of consumption to income, ratio of saving to income. Therefore, to explain the relationship between APC and APS, we need to take the equation Y is equal to C plus S. That is why we have taken the equation Y is equal to C plus S. Now divide. So both the sides are here, left hand side as well as right hand side. So divide both the sides. So what you have to write here is divide both the sides by Y. What will you get when you divide both the sides by Y? Y by Y is equal to C by Y plus S by Y. So what is Y by Y? Y by Y is equal to 1 is equal to, what is C by Y? C by Y, you know it is APC. Therefore we can write APC plus what is S by Y? S by Y is APS, as you know. So APS. So hence it is proved that APC plus APS is equal to 1. So once again, in order to explain the relationship between APC and APS, we have taken the equation Y is equal to C plus S. Keynes has used the equation y is equal to C plus S. The reason behind it is income is used for consumption and saving, and APC and APS speaks about ratio of consumption to income and ratio of saving to income. Divide both the sides of the equation by y. What will you get? Y by y is equal to C by y plus S by y. You all know y by y is equal to 1, cancelled, and C by y is equal to APC and S by y is equal to APS. So how can you write this? 1 is equal to APC plus APS. That is what I have written here. 1 is equal to APC plus APS, which means APC plus APS is equal to 1. From this equation, you can find out APC and APS once again. So already you have a formula for APC and APS. What is that? APC is C by Y, APS is S by Y. I am going to bring the next formula. What is it? From this equation, how will you find out APC? APC plus APS is equal to 1. How will you find out APC from here? APC is equal to 1 minus APS. Am I right? 1 minus APS. This can be taken to side, therefore 1 minus APS. Likewise, APS is equal to 1 minus APC. These are the two equations that you can derive from this equation. APC plus APS is equal to 1, therefore APC is equal to 1 minus APS and APS is equal to 1 minus APC. So this is about the relationship between APS and APC, and these are the two equations that you can derive from this particular equation. That is, APC is equal to 1 minus APS and APS is equal to 1 minus APC. Now we will move on to the relationship between MPC and MPS. Just as how we have discussed the relationship between APC and APS, we have to discuss the relationship between MPS and MPC. Now, if APC plus APS is equal to 1, MPC plus MPS is also equal to 1. We have to prove that. Now, for proving that, Keynes has used the equation y is equal to C plus S. Why? Because MPC and MPS both speaks about ratio of change in consumption to a change in the income, ratio of change in saving to a change in the income. Therefore, there are three components there: income, consumption and saving. Therefore, y is equal to C plus S. But y is equal to C plus S is not the required one here, because marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save always speaks about ratio of change in consumption to a change in the income, change in saving to a change in the income. Therefore, we have to use the equation in a different way. Delta y is equal to delta C plus delta S. If it is y is equal to C plus S, this doesn't represent any change. But here it is delta y is equal to delta C plus delta S. Why Keynes has used delta y is equal to delta C plus delta S? Because marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save speaks about ratio of change in consumption to a change in the income, change in saving to a change in the income. Now, as we did for APC and APS, divide both the sides by delta y. So, write down, divide both the sides, left hand side and the right hand side, both the sides by delta y. What will you get? The first, this particular side, delta y by delta y is equal to delta C by delta y plus delta S by delta y. This is what you get. Now you all know delta C by delta y. What is that actually? Ratio of change in consumption to change in income. That is MPC. What is delta S by delta y? Ratio of change in saving to a change in the income. That is MPS. So what I have written here is what? Delta C by delta y is MPC, delta S by delta y is MPS. So how can I rewrite this equation? Delta y and delta y cancelled. It is 1 is equal to, what can I write for delta c by delta y? That is MPC. So I can write here it as MPC plus, what can I write for delta s by delta y? Delta s by delta y is MPS. Therefore I can write it here as MPS. So hence proved that MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. Once again you can look into the equation. For explaining the relationship between MPC and MPS is equal to 1, their sum is equal to 1. Keynes has used the equation delta y is equal to delta c plus delta s. Dividing both the sides by delta y, you will get it as delta y by delta y is equal to delta c by delta y plus delta s by delta y, which is equal to 1 is equal to, this is delta c by delta y is MPC, delta s by delta y is MPS. That is 1 is equal to MPC plus MPS, which means MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. So from this we are going to derive another equation for MPC and MPS, just as we did for APC and APS. Now how will you find out MPC from here? MPC is equal to 1, let 1 be here, take MPS this side, therefore it is 1 minus MPS. So MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS and MPS is equal to 1, take MPC to the side, 1 minus MPC. So these are the two equations. So from MPC plus MPS is equal to 1, we have derived two equations. MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS and MPS is equal to 1 minus MPC. So along with this you have another formula for MPC. What is MPC? Delta c by delta y. What is MPS? Delta s by delta y. This is the next formula for MPS. What is it? 1 minus MPC, and next formula for MPC is 1 minus MPS. This is all about the relationship between MPC and MPS, APC and APS. So always keep in mind, sum of APS and APC is 1, sum of MPC and MPC is 1. Now we will move on to the next concept, investment. We have finished discussing saving, consumption, and the next one is investment, because we need to know about saving, consumption and investment. There is not much to explain for investment. Few concepts are there related to investment. Now, what is actually meant by investment? Who is investing actually? A producer is investing. So let us see what is the definition of investment. Investment refers to expenditure incurred on the creation of new capital assets. For example, if a producer is starting a business or a firm, he needs to buy the land, machines, equipments, etc. That is his investment. So investment refers to expenditure, that is his expenditure on the creation of new capital asset. So once he has spent money for that, it is an asset for him. That is known as investment. Now, there are two types of investment. Investment consists of induced investment and autonomous investment. So two types of investment according to Keynes are induced investment and autonomous investment. Now let us see what is this induced investment. Induced investment refers to the investment which depends on profit motive and directly influenced by the level of income. What is meant by directly influenced by the level of income? When the income increases, investment also increases. When the income decreases, investment also decreases. There is a positive relationship between income and investment. So if you are drawing a curve, what type of a curve you will get? Any two variables which has positive relationship, you will get an upward sloping curve. So that kind of a curve I have drawn here. This is induced investment, INVST, short form for investment curve. You can see this curve is an upward sloping curve. Why it is an upward sloping curve? Because there is a positive relationship between income and investment. Look at the diagram where I have marked income on the x-axis and investment on the y-axis. Initial income is OY and initial investment is OM. When the income has increased from OY to OY1, you can see investment also has increased from OM to OM1, because at OY1 level of income, investment is OM1. At OY level of income, investment is only OM. So when the income has increased from OY to OY1, investment also has increased from M to M1. This is known as induced investment. So when the income increases, investment also increases. And one more thing you have to make a note is it is profit motive. Depending on the increase in the income, investment is also increasing. For example, if a producer is experiencing a profit, he will be investing more and more for his company. Therefore, we can say that induced investment is always having a type of investment where there is a direct relationship between income and investment. So, it is an upward sloping curve. Okay. Now, we will move on to the next one, autonomous investment. Autonomous investment refers to the investment which is not affected by changes in the level of income, and they are influenced by welfare motive. Autonomous investment is not influenced by any income. It is influenced only by profit motive. What does it mean? Income may change, but the investment will not change. That kind of an investment is known as autonomous investment. In the diagram, it is very clear where I have marked income on the x-axis and investment on the y-axis. Whatever be the level of income, whether it is OY level of income, whether it is OY1 level of income, whether it is OY2 level of income, you can see investment is remaining to be the same. It is kept fixed for a particular period of time, as Keynes has used in his theory. Investment is kept fixed for the particular period of time in the economy. And here this autonomous investment is derived by profit, not by profit motive, but by welfare motive. So you can just imagine who will be undertaking this kind of investment. Definitely it is government if it is welfare motive. So what will be induced investment? Induced investment will be undertaken by the private entrepreneurs. So what is the basic difference between induced investment and autonomous investment? Induced investment is undertaken by the private entrepreneurs, but whereas autonomous investment is undertaken by the government. Induced investment is profit motive and autonomous investment is welfare motive. So you can find at every levels of income investment remains to be the same. Therefore, autonomous investment curve, this is autonomous investment curve. I can write it here as autonomous investment curve. This autonomous investment curve remains parallel to the x-axis. So what is the difference in the shape between the curves of induced investment and autonomous investment? Induced investment curve is a positively sloped curve indicating the direct relationship between investment and income, but whereas autonomous investment curve is parallel to the x-axis, which means investment remains to be the same at different levels of income because it is welfare motive. So these are the basic differences between induced investment and autonomous investment. Now we will move on to the differences, major differences between the induced investment and autonomous investment, which I have written in the form of a table here. That is, basis I have explained, induced investment and autonomous investment. On the basis, motive. What is the first base? Profit motive. Autonomous investment is welfare motive. There is a difference between the induced investment and autonomous investment. If induced investment is profit motive, autonomous investment is welfare motive. Income elasticity. Induced investment is income elastic, which means what? It has a positively sloped curve. It is income elastic. But whereas autonomous investment is income inelastic, that means the curve is parallel to the x-axis. Then comes the next one, nature of the curve. Induced investment curve slopes upwards, but whereas autonomous investment is parallel to the x-axis. Then comes the next one, which sector is dominating induced investment? Private sector, because it is profit motive, and autonomous investment is dominated by government sector because it is welfare motive. So this is with regard to investment. Now another important topic with regard to investment is, investment mainly depends on the two concepts. They are marginal efficiency of investment and the rate of interest. What is this marginal efficiency of investment? Marginal efficiency of investment. Marginal efficiency of investment is expected rate of return from additional investment. So marginal efficiency of investment. So investment depends on marginal efficiency of investment and the rate of interest. What is this marginal efficiency of investment? MEI. It refers to expected rate of return from additional unit of investment. So it is the expected rate of return from the additional investment. So when we use the word marginal, additional is the term that we apply. So marginal efficiency of investment. Investment depends on marginal efficiency of investment and rate of interest. Marginal efficiency of investment means what? The expected rate of return from additional investment. If you make additional investment in the economy, what is the expected rate of return from that investment? If you make additional investment in the economy and if the rate of return is very high, it is a positive sign. If you make additional investment in the economy and if the rate of return is less, it is a negative sign. So marginal efficiency of investment means what? The expected rate of return from additional level of investment that you make in the economy. So investment mainly depends on marginal efficiency of investment, and second one is rate of interest, because you know when a business venture is started, investment is required. So most of the needs are met by borrowing, by taking the loans. So if the rate of interest is more, the borrowing will be less. If the rate of interest is less, borrowing will be more. Therefore, investment depends on two main factors: marginal efficiency of investment and the rate of interest. So I hope that topic is clear to you. Now we will come back to the major formula that we have learned in this chapter. Once again, we will have a quick review of all the formula that we have learned. So today we have learned, in this session you have learned about the relationship between APC and APS, MPC and MPS. Then you have learned about investment, induced and autonomous investment, and the two factors which influences the investment, that is marginal efficiency of investment and the rate of interest. Now let us have a quick recap of all the formula that we have learned so far. The first one that you have learned is AD is equal to C plus I. Next formula, aggregate supply is equal to C plus S. As AS is equal to Y, Y can be written as C plus S. Try to recollect all the topics that you have learned and work out the formula which I am showing here. Next, S is equal to Y minus C and C is equal to Y minus S, because you have the equation Y is equal to C plus S. From this equation you can find out C. C is equal to Y minus S and S is equal to Y minus C. Likewise, as y is equal to c plus s, delta y is equal to delta c plus delta s. Like how you have framed out here, we can frame out here also. Delta s is equal to delta y minus delta c, and delta c is equal to delta y minus delta s. Next formula that you have learned is APS is equal to s by y. APC plus APS is equal to 1. APS is equal to 1 minus APC. APC is equal to 1 minus APS. Likewise, MPC is equal to delta C by delta Y. MPS is equal to delta S by delta Y. MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. MPC is 1 minus MPS. MPS is 1 minus MPC. C is equal to C bar plus BY. C bar stands for autonomous consumption. B stands for marginal propensity to consume. Y stands for level of income. Likewise, S is equal to minus C bar, which shows the saving, plus 1 minus B. 1 minus B is MPS into income, that is level of income. These are the different formula that you have learned so far. So with all these formula in mind, you have to work out the numericals which is given in your Sandeep Garg textbook, and your numericals problems start with page number 7.20. In your Sandeep Garg textbook, your problems start with the page 7.20, and here we can attempt the first problem given in your example, page number 7.20. The first question in your page 7.20 is example 1, find out APC and APS. It's a simple one, find out APC and APS. You know what is APC? APC is C by Y, APS is S by Y. So keep that in mind and start doing the problem. Now what information is given in your problem? Income is given, that is Y. Consumption is given, that is C. What are the income levels given here? 100, 200 and 300. What are the consumption levels given here? 100 levels of income, consumption is 80. Then 200, 120 is the consumption level. At 300 level of income, 180 is the consumption level. Now for easiness of doing this, I have converted it into the form of a table where the income values are written as 100, 200 and 300. Consumption I have written it as 80, 120 and 180. Now what are you asked to find out here? APC and APS. For that, what is APC? C by Y. What is APS? S by Y. So definitely we need two other columns of S and C, right? Therefore, I have given it as C and S. C is already there here in the question. Therefore, S should be the next column. What should be the next two columns? The one which you have to find out, that is APC and APS. So with that, we will start working out. What is the first value of S? You have to find out S. How can you find out S? S is equal to Y minus C. What are the values of S? Y minus C means 100 minus 80, that is 20. 200 minus 120, that is 80. 300 minus 180, that is 120. Next you have to find out C by Y. How will you find out C by Y? What is C? C here is 80. What is Y? 100. So 80 by 100. What is 80 by 100? You definitely know it is 0.80. Now next is C by Y. What is that? 120 divided by 100. Next two values are 180 divided by 300. You have to find out the answer for 120 divided by 200. 120 divided by 200, that is 0.60, and you have to find out the value for 180 by 300, and that is also equal to 0.60. Next is APS. APS is S by Y. Look at the first value of S, 20. 20 by 100. 20 by 100. Definitely it is 0.20. Next one is 80. 80 by 200. And Next one, 120, SS 120 by 300, 120 by 300. So you have to find out the value of 80 by 200 and 120 by 200, that is 0.40. 80 by 200 is 0.40, 120 by 300 is also 0.40. This is how we will find out the values. So try to solve this once again in your notebook and be thorough with all the formula to continue with the next problems starting from page number 7.20 in your Sandeep Gar textbook. Hope all the topics are clear to you. Thank you.